Yeah, go back to February, Lakers Thunder, and it's one of the biggest regular season games in NBA history, really not trying to be hyperbolic here. LeBron James is passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the all-time scoring list. A lot of eyeballs are on it. Anthony Davis comes back to the bench as the play is unfolding, as LeBron James hits the shot to pass Kareem. Now, AD told me that he went back to the tunnel shortly before then and let out a scream of frustration. He was so mad that they were kicking away another game. He knows that they all season long have been chasing their tails after an 0-5 start, 2-10 in the standings, and they felt like this is a game we got to have and we're not playing the right way. Obviously, it looked bad. He understood the optics, but he told me that I would put my relationship with LeBron James, only any duo in the league, any set of teammates in the league. And there's a lot of stuff that people don't see. Now, I talked to Dennis Schroeder, and obviously he played with the Lakers a couple of years ago. This is his second stint back with the team. He said he sees a difference in AD, the way he leads, the way he takes care of his body, and the person he credits that difference to is LeBron James.
That's really interesting. The story you have, it is so in-depth. It really gets into AD's psyche right now as he tries to make this push for the Lakers, with the Lakers, without LeBron James. And he talks about the difference that he sees, right, in the 2020 championship team and the roster that's currently constructed. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, I mean, he talks actually more about the similarities he sees between the two. He said he feels like this team has the same type of identity as that team, which was a defensive-minded group. And you see it on the screen here. He kind of went through the roster, all these guys that he said he hopes the management keeps together going onward to next year. KCP plays a little bit like Malik Beasley with his outside shooting. Alex Caruso, supersized AC. Jared Vanderbilt. Kyle Kuzma, a little bit of everything off the bench. You got Rui Hachimura filling that role. And he said our wizard on offense that used to be Rajon Rondo, that's now D'Angelo Russell. It was cool to see him kind of draw the parallels. And again, it starts with a defensive-minded group. This team has been dominant, one of the best teams in the league defensively since the trades happened. And you look at it there. Second when they won the championship, third when they won the championship, second now. And really, it allows him to put his impact on the game defensively, which is how he kind of like judges his performance.
Yeah.
If he has the pieces around him to allow him to do that, he has a ton of belief in this group. He said, I like our chances against anybody if they stay healthy.
If they stay healthy, and it's a big if, because right now they're still waiting for LeBron James, but their record since the trade deadline, it backs all of that up, right? They're 11-6 since the deadline. That's tied for the 6th best record in the NBA. So if they can keep rolling, if they can keep healthy, it would be exciting to see the Lakers make a deep push here. But it remains to be seen, just like the Clippers. It all hinges on health here.
That game in April between the Clippers and Lakers, that is going to be something
April 5th,
else.
baby. April
both teams
5th.
are going to need that game.
I believe that game's
Tune into
on
That's
ESPN.
OD also. You want to hear about that game?
Yeah, That's OD on YouTube, the show with these two. All things Lakers and Clippers and around the NBA. All right, we got a lot to get to on this show, gentlemen, so we're going to keep it pushing. Still to come on NBA starts right now. Welcome to NBA Today, presented by American Express. I'm Malika Andrews. Happy Friday, everybody. And I'm not sure what was more wild, the NBA Western Conference or the finish of Gonzaga UCLA last night. I'm a Zags fan, so you know how that goes. But we're going to focus on the former because not only do just 3 games separate the 4 seed from the 12 seed out west, but there are 6. Yes, I said 6 teams in the conference that all have 37 losses. It is going to be crazy these final 2 weeks of the season. There are actually some huge games over the next 72 hours that are going to impact the way the standings look by our next show. We're going to get you set for all of these over the course of the next hour. But before we can look forward, we got to take a quick look back. A pivotal game in the West happened last night. It was just across the street. It was between these two gentlemen and the Clippers and the Thunder. So let's head to Crypto.com Arena now. Kawhi Leonard getting set. Remember, no Paul George in this one, but no problem. Kawhi going to work in the first quarter. I mean, he was just getting everything he wanted in this. Watch him elevate, gets that one to go. And then Kawhi Leonard again, but SGA, he wanted to have a little something to say about this, all the way to the other end, and finishes. And then in the third quarter, I mean, Kawhi, he's doing Kawhi things. Assist from Russ here, looking. That's a 3. It would be good. And then again, rinse, repeat for Kawhi Leonard. Pulls up, buckets. And then in the fourth quarter, it was starting to get away from the Thunder a little bit. Kawhi eating. He led the Clippers to a 127-105 victory against the Thunder behind his 32-6-6. Ooh, nice move from Kawhi Leonard there. So last night was a reminder about the levels of greatness. As Vince Carter would say, there are levels to this that Kawhi Leonard can reach. He now has 30 points in 15 of his 45 games played this season. The Clippers have won 13 of those games. That is an 867 win percentage in 30-point games. It's the highest by any player this season. So Kawhi is rounding into form. I want to bring in my friends Kendrick Perkins, Zach Lowe into the conversation because Kawhi, he looks to be all the way back, right? Vintage Kawhi is on full display, and it appears the Clippers are going to need him to play at least this level if they're going to stay afloat in that entirely crowded Western Conference that I just showed our viewers at home. So, Perk, do you think that he can keep the Clippers out of the play-in tournament here?
Absolutely he can. And look, when we talk about the top 10 players in the league, we might as well mention a healthy Kawhi Leonard because he's been back to his Jordan fashion. And I mean mimicking Jordan because that's who his game mimicked. But when I look at the Clippers roster, in order to win the title, you got to have depth. In order to be in the playoff hunt, you got to have depth. And yes, they don't have PG, but I'm looking at guys like Bones Highland and Terrence Mann who coming in off the bench and who is providing the offensive spark, who are pests on the defensive end. Anybody seen the Brody lately? Russell Westbrook? Hey, listen, Russell Westbrook hasn't had a coach like Tyronn Lue in his life. And this is the best thing that's going to happen for his career. We're going to see the best version of Russell Westbrook. When you have two anchors in the middle, and Plumlee and Big Zubac controlling the glass, rim protecting, all the above, the Clippers are going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine, led by Kawhi.
Well, that's got to be music to Zach Lowe's ears because the Clippers, they were your preseason pick to come out of the West, right? And I admit they were mine, too.
Oh, were they?
Is there any way, though, Zach, you think that they can make some noise in the postseason if they aren't at full strength here?
They're going to need Paul George to make real noise in the postseason. As Perk said, they're deep, they're versatile. Bones Highland came in last night and made things happen really for the first time as a Clipper. They should be able to muddle around 500, maybe a little bit above it. They have a 2-game cushion on the play-in right now. They should be snug right in that 5 or 6 spot. The problem for them if they stay at 5 is that Phoenix, potentially with Kevin Durant, is sitting at 4. And I don't think that's a matchup the Clippers can win without Paul George, and it's unclear if Paul George would be ready for that matchup. So it's all going to depend on seedings and matchups. They have the goods if they get hot to win 1 playoff series without PG, but 2 is a tall order, and even 1 in the wrong matchup is going to be tough, and Phoenix is a bear of a matchup.
Yeah, Phoenix would be. I want to bring it into studio here and get a little bit more information on Paul George. Welcoming in our reporter covering the Lakers, Dave McMenamin, our reporter covering the Clippers, Young Masuk. You've been on the forefront, really, of all of this reporting around Paul George here. How does the team feel? How is it reverberating around the team about his knee injury?
Well, I think, first of all, they had to breathe a sigh of relief that this wasn't a worst-case scenario because the night that he went down, I mean, it was deathly silent in the hallways outside the Clippers. What I'm told is that this is a best-case scenario for Paul George, that he did not suffer any ligament damage to any of his major ligaments, but he will have to have this knee immobilized probably for a couple weeks at least. He will be reassessed in 2 to 3 weeks, and that just means what is the next step? That doesn't mean that he's going to be returned to action. After that, he would need to be ramped up. He needs to see if his knee will feel stable and strong after a couple weeks or 3 weeks before he can even think about doing anything, which is why I was also told that maybe return in the first round would be optimistic for Paul George if they make it. So I think a lot of the Clippers are thinking, hopefully we can get him back at some point in the playoffs. At least we know that he does not need surgery and that he would miss any time that would go into next season.
Yeah, because when you and I were texting that night, it was like, this looks bad. So hopefully at least there's a prayer that they get him back at this point. They were able to get the win over OKC without him. And next it's going to be the Lakers that have to face a